Good evening. We want to welcome you to In the Blender with Brandon and Madeline Hyman. I tell you, we're so excited for this evening's broadcast. I want you to contact your friends, your families, those that are blended family, and tell them that In the Blender with Brandon and Madeline Hyman is live on the air. They want to tune in, some exciting information we're going to be sharing on this evening. I tell you, if you missed last week's broadcast or the last 3 weeks broadcast, you want to go into our Facebook page. We are a blended family, or In the Blender, and view those episodes. They are phenomenal, life-changing, revolutionary, and I tell you, you just want to be a part of what we're sharing here on In the Blender. Again, we want to welcome you to In the Blender with Brandon and Madeline Hyman.
Good evening, everyone.
Yes, we are truly excited for this evening's broadcast. Sweetheart, give them a recap of last week's episode.
Okay, the last few weeks we were talking about challenges that arise in the blended family. Some of the things that we discussed was fights between the children, sibling rivalry, argument among the spouses and ex-spouses, misunderstanding, miscommunication or no communication at all, acting out and misbehaving, changes in the attitudes, decline in performance. That was for the children as well as the parents. The parent defending the behavior of the children, and also past baggage.
See, I started smiling on that second to the last one because that was hilarious. Parents defending the behavior of the children. Yeah, we had a good time on that topic. But I tell you,
Shonda up on
yeah, that's one right there. And so, again, every week we like to give a brief recap of what we discussed in the previous episode or the previous episodes. And I tell you, you want to tune in. You don't want to miss a Tuesday at 7:30 sharp. We're here. We're sharing. We are open textbook. We love to just give insight on our families, the ups, the downs, the ins, the outs, how we've overcome. The Bible declares that we overcome by not only the blood of the Lamb, but the word of our testimony. And so we like to share our testimonies with you guys to let you guys know how we've made it, how we've overcome. And so we gave a brief summary or recap of last week, but let's get some statistics.
Okay. Premarital preparation can actually lower the risk of divorce by at least 30%. Secondly, for adults, a happy and stable marriage is the best protector against sickness and premature death, and is the source of emotional stability and good physical health in the children. And thirdly, marriage education is effective in being able to promote the quality and stability of a marriage.
And those are some powerful statistics. The first one, premarital preparation, can actually lower the risk of divorce by at least 30%. That is huge. We living in a day and time where so many people are getting divorced, so many people are separating. That's one of the reasons, that's one of the things that prompted us within the Blender, because we both have been divorced. We both have been married, then divorced, and then remarried. And so we are a prime example of some of these statistics that we share with you guys. But we've got some great information over the years that has empowered us to prevail and to overcome a lot of the pitfalls that couples face as a blended family, that families face as a blended family. And so we want to share these statistics with you, not just so you can have information, but that you can also receive revelation and illumination, so that you can take the information that we share, and you can apply it to your daily living, and you can be successful thereby. And then the second one said, for adults, a happy and stable marriage is the best protector against sickness and premature death, and is the source of emotional stability and good physical health in children. I was just thinking about, we were riding today, and Madeline, she just kept looking at me. And so I said, what, I'm looking good over here to you or something like that? And so for me, her telling me how good I look Yeah, her telling me how good I look. That just does something to me, man. I tell you, it's nothing like your wife telling you how good you look, or maybe even your husband telling you how good you look. I find out a lot of times, especially with women want to know that they look good. And it's not that we as husbands, we don't want to know that we look good, but women especially want to know they look good, that they're attractive. And so it's important that as adults, you know what I'm saying, that you want to build stability and happiness. Make sure you're giving compliments. Make sure that you encourage each other, you build each other up, because those are the things that's going to increase your relationship as you go on, and not only increase you, but it also pour over and spill over into your relationship with your children as well.
Yeah, you want to also tell them how beautiful they look or how good they look as well.
Exactly, because you know, as a father of 3 girls, you know, that's my job to make sure that my girls know they look good. And you know, and because if you don't tell your daughters how beautiful they are, then it's easy for somebody who really doesn't care for them, who really doesn't have their best interest at heart, to come along and then begin to tell them some things that's contrary to what you want them to know, or that can take them off course from the design and the purpose that they have for their life. And so it's important that you do those things. And then also too, marriage education is effective in being able to promote the quality and stability of a marriage. Listen, get books. There are many books out there that you can read on marriage. There's many books that you can go out there and read on raising children. There are even quite a few books that you can go on a blended family. But there's nothing like having examples there before you. People that you can touch, people that you can relate to, people that you can know. Because a lot of times we're reading information or reading things and there's no connection. Not that it's not effective, but sometimes we like to have that connection that'll let us know that if they made it, we can make it. I know them. I know what they've been through. I know the things that they face. And if they overcame, we can overcome as well.
Correct.
And so let's dive into this week's episode, sweetheart.
Okay. So this week we'll be talking about the needs of children and the blended parent. Some of the needs of children and the blended parent. A need, I had wanted to define that. Need is a condition requiring relief, pressing occasion for something, anything that is necessary but lacking, require as useful and urgent want.
Okay.
So we're going to start with some of the children's needs from the child perspective.
Okay, so from a child perspective, so who did we interview? Which one of our daughters we interviewed on this one?
Well, usually...
Or there's a culmination of everybody?
Yeah, pretty much a combination of everybody. Okay. Some of the things Shadeva has shared before, but...
Okay.
And even Pooh at times. Shonda, not so much. She don't say too much. Understanding that they are included, feel a part, and they matter in the new dynamics in the blended family. Their views, opinion, thoughts, and ideas.
And so it's important to understand that children have needs as well. And their needs sometimes will supersede your needs. Because if you're not meeting their needs, then it can pose a problem as it relates to your needs. And so you want to make sure that you understand that you understand that they want to be included, that they want to feel a part, that they want to feel that they matter in this new dynamic, in this new system of a blended family. Because as we share in our relationship, the girls at first didn't feel that they mattered. They didn't feel like they were a part. They didn't feel like they were included. They didn't feel like they were needed. And so consequently, that posed a lot of problems for us early on in our marriage, because there were a lot of kickback and a lot of bucking to things that we wanted to accomplish and we wanted to do, all because I personally didn't take the time to make sure that they were included. I didn't include them in decision making. I didn't include them in plans. I didn't include them in the way the house was going to be run and things of that nature. All I did was I just came in with a set of barking orders like I was a staff sergeant, and it was either my way or the highway. And so, you know, that posed a lot of problems early on. And so you want to make sure that you make the child feel like they're included. that they are a part, that they matter. And that's that matter piece is significant, because if you don't make them feel like they matter, then they'll go to somebody that will make them feel like they matter.
Right.
A lot of things, even with our oldest daughter, there were some things, because I didn't always make her feel like she mattered. You know, she chose other routes as well. And so you want to make sure that you make your children feel like they matter. You know, now she knows she matters. The girl is hilarious. You know, we have to spend a 3-week episode on her, because she's special all within herself. But you want to make sure that they know they matter.
You know she don't hear, right?
Exactly, and that's why I'm saying that. And so you want to make sure that they know they matter, and that they're part of your views, your opinions, your thoughts, as well as your ideas.
Yes.
What's the next one?
One-on-one time with the blended parent and blended siblings to get to know them, to form their own relationships.
Exactly. And that's one of the things that, for myself, I learned quickly. I wanted to, quickly establish some time with them personally, right, so that they can know me, they can know what I like, what I don't like, and also that I can get to understand them. You know, it doesn't take long to figure out that you're doing something that's just not working. And so for me, I saw there's some things that I was doing that wasn't working, or not so much they weren't working, but I wasn't getting the maximum effect from it.
Right.
And because I wasn't maximizing things that I was trying to do, I then had to begin to reevaluate what I was doing, the way I was doing it, even why I was doing it. And then I began to make those necessary adjustments, and I started spending that one-on-one time with them. Correct. And so that was important to make sure that I spend that one-on-one time with them. One of the comments that just came across said, yes, because children never ask for the parents to split up and form a new family systems, no more than parents set out to end up or end split up from their previous spouse or significant other. Correct. And so that's very important. And I love that whoever just joined in and shared that with us. I love the fact that they shared that. Thanks, Canna. I love that, because kids don't ask for that. Right. You know, they don't look for that. And when that happens, it can sometimes throw them off. Right. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody wants the happily ever after. And so for them, when that dynamic occurs, it dwarfs and it kind of halts their happily ever after. Right. And so now you have to present them with a new happily ever after. Mm-hmm. And in presenting them with that new happily ever after, you have to be considerate to their thoughts, to their ideas, to their wishes, their concerns, and you have to make them feel like they're included in this. Correct. And then, you know, like we were saying, that one-on-one time. I love spending one-on-one time. One of my daughters, we would go to breakfast on my birthday. She went a couple times with me on my birthday. One of my, I wouldn't say it was a ritual, but one of my rituals that I do every year is I go to IHOP on my birthday. That's something I do. I don't care what's going on. Two things I do. I don't work, and I go to eat. And so those are my two birthday things that I do. I don't work on my birthday. That's a national holiday, and then I go to IHOP for breakfast. But since I'm on this journey with my weight and my longevity of life, I don't do that as much as I used to. And so, but one of my daughters, she will go with me periodically to breakfast, because I love IHOP breakfast, although I can't eat it now. Well, I can't eat the omelet, as well as the cream cheese pancakes and all of the blueberry syrup that I like on that. So I can't do those things anymore. But, you know, you want to make sure you spend that one-on-one time with them. So did you want to say anything to that? Okay, what's the next one?
Allotted time with their biological parent that's in the home.
Okay. I was wondering when you was going with that.
Because, okay, even once you become blended, the children are used to spending time with their parent. Mm-hmm. So when that blended parent come in and kind of take away that time from them, you know, then they're missing that time that they used to have with that parent. Like for us, example, you know, they used to spend a lot of time with me. And then when you came along, that was like, boom, out of the window. So that time that we used to spend, we didn't get to spend together. Why are you looking at me like that? You know it's true.
Because
we didn't get to spend that time together
to be in the blender, and it seems as if it's like I'm gonna get him episode. No, I'm just joking. It's supposed to be in the blender, but sometimes
it is in the blender.
I be getting blended.
No, but we said the needs. This is what they need. They still need to spend some time with that biological parent.
Not a problem. Not a problem
but
at all.
You know, no, really, especially when it had been just us, you know, women, and then they
hold on, and LaShonda said true.
That's right, Shonda.
That's the only time you can say true. Wow.
They just laughing.
So question.
But it is true though. You know, you still want to allow them that time with that parent, just them and their parent.
Correct.
So
no, what I thought, I don't know why I was thinking that you were talking about
the
outside parent, the other parent,
the parent in the home.
But that's important as well. You want to make sure that there's time spent with the other parent as well.
Yeah.
One of the things that we would do is, and I know that their dad loved us for this, was even before I came along, we will make sure that we would take them to go see him. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of times he didn't even have to come himself. We would actually get in the car as a family, and we would ride and drop them off, and then make sure that, you know, that they would have that quality time spent with them. Right. And so that's important because we wanted to make sure that we presented them a whole family. Mm-hmm. Just because the two biological parents were no longer together, they were no longer married, that didn't make us or didn't present to them that we weren't a family. Right. We were still a family. We just didn't have the same dynamics as they once had. Right. Or they didn't have the same dynamics as they once had. They had some additional dynamics, but we were still a family. Correct. And so it's important that they get to spend that time not only with the parent outside the home, but especially with the parent inside the home. Correct. Because again, you can seem intruding. I was an intruder. I came into their system, their way of doing things, their way of operating, and I just shook the whole foundation of it. And so you want to make sure that that time is allotted, and not just a small amount of time. There's some quality time that has to be given to make sure that they feel needed, that they feel wanted, mm-hmm. that they feel appreciated. Again, like we were talking about early on, that their needs are still met, so that now your marriage can grow and present to them what it was designed to present to them.
Right. Another thing was adjustment period, which you kind of touched on, that adjustment period for the change.
Exactly.
So that's that time, allowing them time to adjust to this whole new way of doing things.
Yeah, because a lot of times you got to understand, I think I was clear with my girls that I wasn't coming in to replace their father. Yeah. I wasn't coming in to remove him. You know, I love their mom, and I wanted to be a part of their family. And so I had to make sure that once I saw some of the things that I was doing wasn't working, and I was kind of beating my head up against a brick wall, that I had to allow them the opportunity and time to adjust. Now, in the midst of that adjustment, we endured a lot. In the midst of that judgment, my family fell apart. I mean, everybody was gone. It was just me and my wife. And so there was a time in that adjustment period that I had to reassess some things and look at what I was doing and what I needed to change in order for them to, or in order for me to allow them to adjust and to be comfortable and to know the real intent of my relationship, not only with you, but with them as well. Right. Was there something you wanted to say with that?
No, I heard you say something. I didn't quite understand what you were saying. You were saying something like fell apart. What I mean by that is one daughter moved out, the next daughter moved out, and then the next daughter moved out. So that's what I mean by that. It was just as they got older.
Yeah, but it was, you know, but you can present things in a way where just because they're older, they don't have to move out. Right. Just because they're older, they don't have to leave home. And so I didn't present an atmosphere in the beginning for them to want to hang around and for them to want to stay. Hey, D, I see that. Yeah. Because my man D'Artagnan said kids sometimes don't recognize what or how much the new parent does, or the sacrifices that are even made to help with the upbringing until they reach adulthood.
Yep.
And that's
so true.
that is so true, because the conversations that we have now with our daughters are so hilarious, because they're saying things now as parents, you know, and as adults that we were saying when they were children and young teens. And so you're so true. At that particular time, the sacrifices and the adjustments that are made, you know, they don't recognize that. Only thing they recognize is there's a change made, and there's some adjustments that need to be made, and they don't always want to be on board with them. And so it's important to allow that time for adjustments. And we'll go to that on another end, but allow that time for adjustments for the children so that they can properly see, give them an opportunity to see and recognize what's happening and what's going on for their benefit.
Correct. Another thing was communication.
Go ahead, talk about that.
They need communication. They need you to, you know, not just communication with the biological parent, but they need communication with that blended parent, because the only way to solve any issues or to get any type of understanding or what people want, what people need, is to communicate. So you always have to make sure that you're in a place where you can communicate with one another, because there was times when there was no communication. So you always want to keep the lines of communication open, because that's the only way to solve a lot of the issues that arise in the blended family.
Exactly, because when I was growing up, you didn't talk when grown-ups talk. And so, matter of fact, you didn't even really have conversations with grown-ups, because it was always grown-ups talking. And so there were things that I didn't know to do or even understand to do because of my upbringing. Was my upbringing good? My upbringing was great, but things changed, and my parents didn't maximize things with me. My mom did, because me and my mom, we talked a lot. But from a father standpoint, I didn't talk much with my father. I knew my father loved me. I knew my father cared for me. I knew my father wanted the best for me, because he would always tell me that. But we would never communicate as to what I wanted to do, how I wanted to do it. You know what I'm saying? It was exactly deep. It was to be seen and not heard long.
Stay on a child's place.
Exactly. And many of us know that, you know what I'm saying? Exactly. You know, you seen but not heard. And so because of that, you know, I had that same mentality. Be seen but not heard. And I really wasn't interested in communicating to that degree, you know, because again, my upbringing taught me that a child was to be seen and not heard.
Another need that we have is happiness, laughter, and fun. You know,
what was that first word?
Happiness.
Oh, you said happiness. Okay, I thought that was a country thing.
Happiness, laughter, and fun. You know, they want to have fun. They want to laugh. They don't want to be in a home where they're you know, feeling unhappiness. They're depressed. They don't feel like they, you know, having fun. They feel like they in the army.
Y'all like the army,
they feel like they in boot camp. You know.
Wow.
Oh, my kids was in boot camp. Oh, I felt so bad for them. They was in boot camp.
Yes.
Oh, Lord Jesus. So, don't.
Now, our grandkids in boot camp. Everybody in boot camp.
Look. Don't let your kids be in boot camp, okay?
That's it.
No, but
we want to make sure that there's happiness, laughter, and that's one thing, you know, that we had. You know, we always, you know, regardless of the things that we had to adjust to,
yes,
we always had happiness, laughter, fun. You know, times when they try to set me on fire. We'll talk about that, you know what I'm saying? My baby girl tried to set me on fire.
You tell that story all the time.
Because she tried to set me on fire. So I'm going to tell it. And so, you know, but but it was funny. It was hilarious, because it was one of the things, like, you see something happen on TV, and then when you experience it, you're like, did that just happen? And so, and it was always something going on in the house that was funny. And then, we personally just like to crack jokes anyway. And so, always want to make sure that you present that atmosphere so that even when things seem rough, even as people are adjusting, even as the children are adjusting and the parents are adjusting, that there are some things that are going on that's always funny, that there are always things to laugh on. And anybody know my wife, she don't have a filter when it comes to laughing. She kind of, embarrassment is a choice, but she can be embarrassing sometimes. Because she don't know how to not laugh at stuff. Like, everything ain't funny.
To me, when I laugh, it is funny to me. It might not be funny to you, but it's funny to me.
So, what's the last one?
Love, respect, and honor.
What?
They want love, they want respect, and they want to be honored.
Okay.
Just that simple.
Talk about it.
I just did. That was that.
But again, I think we talked about that on all the other points. You know what I'm saying? Kids want to be loved. The children, they want to be loved. They want to be honored. They want to be respected. They want to know that they're a part, that they're relevant, that you care, that they mean something. They're not just here. It's not just about the parent, but it's also about them. One of the things that I used to do early on, at least for the first 3 years, was on Saturday, we spent time together. It might not have been how they wanted to spend time, but every Saturday we spent time together. And that was when we did laundry. We had a big family, and so I would take the girls to the laundromat, and we would, do laundry together. Don't too many men spend time with their daughters like that. You know what I'm saying? But we would spend time at the laundromat, washing clothes, folding clothes, things of that nature. And so for me, it was a way to kind of mesh with them without really being intrusive, without really, really knocking down their door, but just having an opportunity to kind of talk with some things outside of their mother being present and kind of getting some insight as it relates to their likes and their dislikes. And so, again, they want to feel love, they want to be respected, and they want to be honored. What's the next one, sweetie?
Well, that was it from the children's need. We can go down to the parents' needs and start that, or we can pick that up next week because how many minutes in?
We got about 3 more minutes.
Okay. For the parents' needs, then, know that they are accepted. They also want to know that they are accepted. Just as the children want to know that they're accepted, that blended parent want to know that they're accepted in that family dynamics.
Exactly, because for me, you know what I'm saying, it was about acceptance. I really wanted to be accepted.
And you got to know how to go about being accepted, too, because your whole way of trying to be accepted just did not work. You got to come in the right way.
Don't touch me.
All right, go ahead. You expand on that because go ahead. All right, come on.
No, we just playing. No, but you want to be accepted. And again, most people do what they know.
Yeah.
And because I didn't know any better, I didn't do any better. And let me say this, that's not an excuse. Get to know better.
Right.
Seek to know better. Because when you seek to know better, you'll find better. When after understanding that I didn't know better, it made me want to know better.
Yeah.
And so I really dug into some things. I really sought out some things. I sought out some people. I sought out some information so that I can now be better and present to my family and my children better. And so even though I wanted to feel accepted, I didn't give them an even playing field or fair playing field to accept me, because I made a lot of things that I did unacceptable in their eyes.
But even for us, though, men and girls, we didn't even realize until later down the road ourselves, probably even years later, that you really didn't even know. We thought when you came in, like, you knew, you had it together, you knew what you were doing, and then as we look back, and I'm not being funny, because you're getting ready to laugh, I'm being serious right now. No, I'm being serious. Like, then we look back over the years and now like, wow, you really didn't know.
No,
you really didn't know.
But the reason for that is because I'm always an individual who always presents himself as knowing.
Right.
And so there are some things that I may not know, but that don't mean I have to have a badge on my chest say I don't know. And so sometimes that kind of shows out later on that you don't know.
How about not embarrassing them also, like getting to a fight in a stands at an Eastern high school during your son's football game?
Exactly.
Oh, Lord, who did that?
His father. And so we'll talk about that another time.
Oh my God.
Yeah, because his dad was wrecking up in the football stands during the game. So we had no attention.
The children.
Exactly. We had no attention on us when we was playing high school football because his father was too busy fighting. So that was the entertainment during that time. But it was important, what I'm saying, for the blended parent to feel accepted, to know that they're accepted, and also to allow that time for the acceptance to take place. One of the things that I had to do was allow my girls the time to accept me. Right. Allow them time, and that took place by me spending time with them, right. Communicating with them, showing them love, showing them respect, showing them honor, right. Because honor isn't just upwards; it goes downward as well. Right. Respect isn't just upward; it's downward as well. And so a lot of times as parents, you want certain things that you yourself. Wow, Shonda is giving a whole lot of pops on this one. Really? And so, you want to make sure that you're doing those things.
Yeah, because see, that's what we had that as far as the children, too. Respect. They want respect and honor just like, the parent did.
Yeah, but she wasn't popping that much when we was talking about it then, but she's popping now. She's still popping. Lord Jesus. No, but we're excited. Again, we thank you all for tuning in to In the Blender with Brandon and Madeline Hyman. We're talking about the needs of the children as well as the blended parent. And so we thank you all. We want to ask you, encourage you to tune in next week as we pick back up on the needs of the blended parent. We're going to talk about that. Also, we're going to recap a little bit about the needs of the children as well.
Yeah, maybe Shonda can come over and say something.
Yeah, she's doing all that popping. And so, we're excited. We're just excited. If there's any word I can use right now, we're excited. Being able to share with you guys our family, what we've experienced, what we've gone through, and we love you guys. We appreciate you.
We didn't have time. You didn't have time to share that small little testimony about a text that you got, did you?
Oh yeah, let me share that before we go. Last week, I got a good friend of mine hit me up on a text and was just sharing with me some of the things that they were going through and how us sharing our life with them has impacted them greatly. There was a situation where he was able to minister to a family member as relates to the blended situation, and it just changed their life tremendously. And so again, our pastor been sharing with us about being the puzzle piece. And so this In the Blender is just a puzzle piece to the many lives of those that watch us, to those that know us, and to those that will encounter us. And so we pray that we continue to be that piece that fits perfectly into your life, that fits perfectly into your situation, and you can see the big picture, and it unveils itself as the picture was designed to do. So we love you guys. We thank you for viewing In the Blender with Brandon and Madeline Hyman. We appreciate you so much. God bless you, and see you next week.
And don't forget, if you have any questions or comments, email us at weareablendedfamily@gmail.com.
And what's that email address again?
weareablendedfamily@gmail.com.
Until next week, God bless.
Good night, everyone. Love y'all.